Welcome back to American Sunlight News Podcast. The 7th edition starts now. Well, it's anybody's guess whether Mark Green, our champion of the people, will be back on the ballot for Director of Elections again, for the entire county of King, or if he will have to foray, with stilts of sorts, back into the quicksand of federal way, Washington politics. First, however, we want to pay tribute to the great, courageous Congresswoman from Colorado, Lauren Boebert, who has been resolute in standing up for conservative values in Washington, D.C., and the more that the erratic leftist mob and their partisan globalist allies in the media criticize Congresswoman Boebert, the more that we love her. It looks like the country club ex-councilman, whatever his name is, from ritzy, rich Aspen, Colorado, where the working class have to live in squalor-like dormitories, will be her opponent again in 2024, so we ask our fans to send Lauren donations to her campaign. Please find her official campaign website on the internet, Google, Bing, or something. Her last name is spelled Boebert. As for Mark Green, once again, he is one of the last mainstays in our, sadly, radical leftist state of Washington. Mark, you see, still stands up for citizens and against the globalist hysteria that is fraying at the edges of the foundations of America. But if it continues, our proud country will forever be drowned in the globalist seas, ruled by unelected internationalist commissars, and suddenly we will go from first world country to second world. And a lot of people think we have already arrived to second world status, so, if that's the case, then guess what's next? That's right. Third world. Brazen and bold-faced as ever, the Joe Biden regime is openly trying to bring as many foreigners into America as he can possibly get away with. And he's getting away with a lot, as, unfortunately, the weak Republican opposition is little bar to Biden acting like a dictator who flouts immigration laws at will. Biden is trying to bring half of the south of the Rio Grande River Americas, not to mention much of the wider world, into the United States, and overcrowd our cities and towns with the criminal, the desperate, the poor, and the teeming masses whose descendants would soon outnumber our own citizens' descendants in a mere couple of generations. This is insanity on steroids, but it's happening before our very eyes, and seems like any opposition is utterly powerless to the likes of a lying con man like Alejandro Mayorkas, Biden's henchman on the southern border, and the dictator wannabe, Joe Biden, himself, whose family has received millions of dollars from foreign sources of a spurious nature, to put it kindly. The corrupt mainstream news media barely mentions the scandal, however, which just shows you the maelstrom that our proud, 246-year-old nation has fallen into. Biden and company seem to think that a poem on a big statue allows him to outrageously violate immigration laws and our Constitution, but it doesn't, of course. You see, even though America has a history of taking in people from around the world, generously, we have always had limitations as well, as limitations are just common sense, and America is a common sense country, until lately, it seems. Despite that they repeat it so often, apparently so that they think it will become a self-fulfilling prophecy, America is not a nation of immigrants. America has been a settled nation for hundreds of years, for whom we are the descendants of the forebears of the 1776 Revolution, and the majority of descendants, if not from the Revolution, at the very least, since the establishment of continental America as united and one, or to put it another way, when statehood stretched across the entire continent, from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean. We are a people, and most of us were born in America. America, whether native-born or immigrant or illegal immigrant, stands at roughly 333 million people now. Biden and company are trying their level best to triple that to 1 billion people by their open borders policy, replacing descendants of even our 20th century forebears, let alone 18th or 19th centuries. Only impeachments and the 2024 election can stop them. Thank you again for listening to and watching American Sunlight News Podcast. Your donation to Mark Green for Director of Elections would be appreciated, which you can do by going to the Friends of Mark Green for Director of Elections section of this website, and finding the GoFundMe link on it. But if you came across this podcast by other than the website, write to us at partyofcommons@yahoo.com. That's partyofcommons@yahoo.com. Thank you so much. Again, thank you so much.